All right, so up next is Susan Van Gundy from the National Science Digital Library. She's the Director of Education and Strategic Partnerships.
There we go. Okay, so Paradata. There we go, user analytics. And I'm going to talk a little bit first about how I was inspired to this approach, to looking at sort of the spaces in between the activity and thinking about some of the problems of impact a little differently. One of the things that was an inspiration for me is Stephen Johnson's book Emergence, which talks about complex systems and emergent systems. And there's a chapter in there about the importance of sidewalks to the vitality of communities, and that sidewalks are a key part of why urban environments are innovation hubs, because sidewalks allow for the interchange at many different scales, a cross-section of different people, goods, services, information, ideas, and how the sidewalks in between the buildings and the other kinds of infrastructure are a vital part of a robust community and sharing ideas. And I started to think about, well, how does that apply to NSDL? Because really, we've got these networks of content, robust partnership networks that are producing all goods and services online, and user networks that are increasingly using our content in innovative ways. So we're really sidewalk builders in many ways, but that's not how we've been evaluating our impact. And impact, you know, of course, is the holy grail of NSF grants, and yet we increasingly felt that we were not measuring the right things, that the kind of impact that those networked things have, we weren't using traditional means to measure that, because our dissemination mechanism has really been this: put those resources out into the user environment, and then we never hear back from them. We have not asked ET to phone home. Instead, we have been measuring the impact of those things in a hothouse environment, under highly controlled conditions with a small group of teachers who are using content that we've chosen in many cases, and we have not really been looking at those spaces in between, at the interactions. We have been focused on the object, the digital object. We've been measuring it, we've been describing it with metadata, we've been passing that descriptive metadata around, and we've been sort of ignoring somewhat, and when I say we, I mean the entire digital library community and digital environment, not just NSDL, but we've been somewhat ignoring that social patterns on the side, those interactions that make the objects interesting and useful, especially in very diverse educational environments. And likewise, we've not been looking at those intersections or interstices where new patterns are emerging as we have adjacencies now between content and content, and content and users and content, and networking that all together in these robust social environments where we're sharing, we're favoriting, we're giving our opinion. We are increasingly, as teachers, becoming sophisticated about creating our own content as we mash up and contextualize. So this is the audience feedback slide where you're supposed to go, ooh, they're building complex systems for feedback. I don't expect you to really read that. But we have taken these concepts and are operationalizing them through two robust networks, one of which is our STEM exchange with NSDL and our existing partners. And then these concepts have been taken and built upon for the Federal Learning Registry, which is an initiative of the Department of Education and Department of Defense. And as we are sharing Paradata, metadata, information about resources, information about users and their patterns of use, we're hoping to then pull from that data some other kinds of inferences, like how does that use indicate the utility of the resource, and can we come up with an index for that? And then ultimately, we want the feedback to feed the feedback. We're very meta, and we hope to make sure that that Paradata comes back into the user experience, so that as teachers are evaluating resources, they're seeing all this data. The data exhaust, the numbers that are coming out as users are just clicking and using and embedding and doing their thing anonymously, aggregated. This is our a foray into big data in terms of educational analytics. And from those numbers, we hope to see these patterns begin to emerge that can give us a better sense of what's needed, how to improve what we're doing, how to better support teachers, and ultimately to better understand the impact of NSDL and other digital library providers on those sidewalks in the digital landscape and the education environment of today. Thank you.